Welcome to Navigation and Discovery with Cameron Singh, where we bring people from diverse backgrounds to help share their stories and in hopes that you learn their life lessons and hopefully that it provides encouragement in your life wherever you are at. On today's podcast, we have the Team Antigua Island Girls. And in 2019, this group of girls, they crossed the Atlantic Ocean, called the Atlantic Challenge. And I had the pleasure of being in Antigua and Barbuda when they came and landed and finished their race in English Harbor in the island of Antigua. And now they're on their way to go on the Pacific Challenge, which is crossing now the Pacific Ocean. And so they're in Monterey Bay, California right now, prepping their way. They're only a few days away from the start of the challenge. So here we go with my sit-down interview with the Team Antigua Island Girls from Monterey Bay, California. Hope you enjoy this interview. Well, on today's podcast, we have the Team Antigua Island Girls. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So, I remember it's really awesome to have you all on because I remember I think it was 2019. Am I correct?
Correct.
Where your group crossed the Atlantic, and it was one of the moments that I'll never forget. And we were at work at the airport, and everyone was glued to the live television on ABS, and I will never forget that moment. It was, for me, it was amazing, and I know we're going to get into that later. But if you could introduce yourselves, and then we'll get started.
Okay, so we are Team Antigua Island Girls, and we never rowed before. But however, we decided to row the Atlantic in 2018, from the Canary Islands, 3,000 miles, to Nelson's Dockyard, English Harbor, Antigua, and we did this in 47 days. 8 hours and 25 minutes. We got together because the race actually ends in Antigua, and we had two male teams previously representing Antigua, and then a call went out that we would love some females to represent the country next, and it ended up with 4 of us. We are missing one right now that successfully crossed the Atlantic.
Awesome. And do you mind introducing yourselves?
Yes. Of course. I'm Kevinia Francis. I'm the captain, Team Antigua.
I'm Christal Clashing.
And I'm Samara Emmanuel.
All right. Well, good to meet you all. Well, before we get going, because I really want to hear insights on the Atlantic Challenge, because there was a lot of press after, and I remember, I think there was like KFC delivered to someone after. I do remember that. Yeah. So I'd like to hear more about that. But so tell us a little bit about the story, how you initially, the 4 of you got together.
Yeah, so we heard that call that went out for the women's team, and about 15 women answered that call. And I guess over time, well, we thought initially that it was going to be for the following year. So the call went out in, let's say, January 2018. And then we thought we would be rowing in December 2019. And then quite quickly it was changed to December 2018. So that was a bit of a shock to the system. And so we only really had about 8 to 9 months to prepare. And that in itself took a few people out of the running. Because they just couldn't manage, the timeline just wasn't working for them. And then just for one reason or another, it just whittled down to the final 4 who rowed the Atlantic. Yeah.
Awesome. And then so now going into a little bit of the Atlantic Challenge, preparing for that. How was the preparation for that?
So the preparation was grueling. We had about 8 months. I like to say it was a pregnancy. We had 8-9 months of training, and then the actual row was the birth. So we spent a lot of time in the gym. We did about 5 to 6 days in the gym for a minimum of 2 hours. We also had preparation in terms of getting our boat together, getting all the kit, all the gear. We had mandatory courses that we had to do. So like sea survival, essential navigation, firefighting, VHF,
First aid.
ocean ruin course, first aid. So we had an extensive list of mandatory courses that we had to do to make sure that we were safe and prepared to go across the Atlantic. We had a lot of
training roads.
training
as well.
rows. Yes, we rode to St. Kitts, which is a neighboring island. We rode around Antigua. We did a lot of rows up and down the coast of Antigua. So yeah, we really prepared.
Yeah.
And did any of you have rowing experience before then?
None,
Never.
none.
No, we kind of
wow.
learned mostly through like YouTube videos.
Trial and error and YouTube.
Yeah, we were
wow.
fortunate enough to go up to England for about a month before the race.
Mhm.
And we spent a month up in England, and we got a day with an Olympic rower from the UK, and
Mhm.
she taught us a few tips and
Yeah.
with technique tips. Gwen Batten is her name, and yeah, it was really good to kind of get that input. Even if this was one day, it was really valuable,
Yes.
and it served us well on the Atlantic.
Yeah. You know, probably preparing for this, you have to be in a certain mindset to be able to get to that point. Like you said, there were a few people that dropped off, and how was your mindset throughout that preparation and to continue and not give up at that point?
Well, I think it was different for everybody. I initially wasn't sure it was something I could do, not because it's an ocean crossing, and I am not an ocean girl like that. I am an adventurer, but on land. So initially for me, I wasn't sure that, and I couldn't swim. So I wasn't sure that how I would handle the seasickness, if any, and the not being able to swim. But you know, my spirit of adventure is greater than my fears.
Yeah.
So I still showed up to the meeting, and every question that I asked about my fears, I did get answers that gave me peace of mind. I did go learn to swim, tried the row. I did get nauseous, but not seasick. Eventually, I did get seasick when we did the crossing, but I was still able to function and perform. So in the preparation and testing my limits, obviously my mindset adjusted as we went along. So the adventure part was, yes, I wanted to do it, but I didn't know if physically I could handle it. But with the training, with the preparation, I knew I could. So there was no stopping me after that.
Yeah, for me, mindset wise, I mean, unlike Kev, who was asked to join the team, I volunteered, as did many other women. And at the time, I was looking for this big adventure to go on. I didn't know it was going to take the form of an ocean row, but it did. And I think as well, because there were several women vying for a place on the team, it was almost a sense of trying to prove yourself, to make sure you could get on the team. So there's that sense of, I wouldn't say competition, but just trying to be as strong as you could be, try to be as open to teamwork as you could be, and just try to work in the team as best as possible.
Mhm.
For me, I love adventure. I'm a captain and sailor by profession. So anything with being on the sea was a no-brainer for me. Like Christal said, the teamwork part of it is where I had to learn to adjust. I'm accustomed to doing things on my own, not as a part of a group. So adjusting to having to make decisions as a group, having to think of other persons before doing certain things was the part that I had to actually, learn and grow to overcome.
Mhm. Awesome. Yeah, they often say preparation is the most important than the actual journey.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now going into a little bit of the journey of the Atlantic Challenge. Take us from the start when it was go time, meaning where did you launch from, or where was the start, and take us through a little bit of that journey.
Okay, so we started in La Gomera, which is one of the Canary Islands, San Sebastian, and the race start was epic. We had a lot of supporters that came out from Antigua.
Oh, really?
And yes. So we had the flags waving, Antiguan flags waving. People were crying as we rode out to our local tune, Sweet Little Island Girl. So that was actually very good. We were really focused on race start. So we were just ready to go start our journey to get home. Early out after sunset, myself and our other teammate got seasick. We didn't expect that because we were going to be rowing hard, rowing 3 hours, pushing as far and as fast as we can. And then we were hit with seasickness. So we had to learn to adapt and adjust our plans from day one. And what was beautiful about that is that our other teammates that weren't sick jumped right in, picked up the slack, trying to keep you hydrated. So first 3 days we were battling and trying to rehydrate and get some fuel in to continue to row. So, and then everything subsided and it was back on the oars, pushing hard again. So yeah. Then
the conditions were really good at the beginning of the race. This race is supposed to be going with the trade winds towards the Caribbean from off the coast of Africa. And we had really great wind and waves the first week and a half, 2 weeks. And I mean, people think that big waves are a problem, but they're not. In races like these, you want the waves big and you want them moving in your direction. So you have the speed to go with it to get home faster, get to the finish line. And we were experiencing those great conditions for the first week and a half, 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden it just stopped. And we were like 3.5 weeks of just almost like stillness. And whenever there was a bit of wind, it wasn't going in our direction. The current seemed to be confused that they were supposed to be going to the Caribbean, not to Africa. And it's like it didn't get the memo that year or something. But yeah, it meant we had a very painstaking crossing when we were expecting to have more wind and waves behind our backs. We had to row a lot harder in much more still conditions.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk about the journey towards
so like they said, started out hard, strong, but we also encountered a lot of issues very early on. Seasickness was one, then the waves stopped. We also had a lot of technical difficulties. The boat that we were on, its fourth crossing with us. So it had done the race 3 previous times and fourth with the Island Girls. So we had, first thing that hit us was the autopilot. It was giving a little issue, couldn't figure it out. So we kind of just, changed it out, put a new one. And then that started giving issues. So it ended up that all the autopilots gave issues in the end, broke down. We had to pull 4 autopilots apart and make one. It struggled a lot, but I will say it got us home, even though it struggled. But after that, the real issue was the boat had an electrical problem, which we didn't know about. And that made us have to bring out our electrician hat because we had to rewire the system to get it back on the go. But I must say, the teamwork out there to finish the crossing was awesome. It was incredible. Everyone just jumped into action. No matter what issue happened, we found a solution, kept rowing. We never I'm gonna give up or anything like that. We just knew we had to find a solution to get the boat back home and get all 4 of us back home safely.
So for those listening or watching, I'm sure they're curious. How did you nourish yourselves? And then also probably another thing, how did you go bathroom?
We knew that was gonna come.
Always comes up.
Yes. So simple, our bathroom is a bucket.
Okay.
and bucket and chuck it. So there's no
okay.
privacy.
Yeah.
In the beginning, we tried all sorts of different
Contraptions.
during
privacy
training,
options, piece skirts.
You
And
and
then
then cubicles.
yeah.
when you're out there, you're so tired. Whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, the bucket. We have no showers either, so
Mhm.
we do have a water maker on board that desalinates. So we did make fresh water every day. So sometimes, if you have time, you can have like a sponge bath. Usually it's wet wipes, and our food is dehydrated or freeze dried rations.
Okay.
So once we make water, we will add it, leave it to rehydrate, and try our best to eat it, which was really difficult. We did have some local hot sauce that made it easier, but then we ran out, which made it more difficult again. So we really struggled to eat. Sam lost 44 pounds, not that we were
yes.
trying.
Oh wow.
I lost 30. So this time around, we have a lot more variety, a lot more hot sauce.
Yeah, a lot more hot sauce.
And a lot more snacks. Just in
Yes, and a lot of
case.
snacks.
Yeah.
Protein powder.
Yeah, because those finished very early.
Yeah. Yeah. Now going into kind of the experience through the journey. I know you mentioned you had some highs, some lows, some challenges. What were some of the memorable moments during that journey?
I think some of the wildlife was pretty impressive. In the sense that we didn't get a lot of variety per se,
Mhm.
but we got lots of dolphins almost all the time. And one particular day we had a super pod of dolphins visit us, which meant you had like waves and waves of just dolphins coming, of different kinds of dolphins. So that was really, really cool. We like to say there was a dolphin convention or a dolphin fun swim or an injured dolphin. And so, yeah, it was just really cool to see. And the nights were really beautiful. People always think the nights are going to be really, really scary, but to be honest, it's really stunning. We have great starlight and moonlight, and we don't even need our navigation light often because it's so bright,
Right.
and there's no light pollution, and you can sometimes see the Milky Way as well.
Oh wow, that's
I
interesting.
think the highlight for me was our arrival. Yeah, that will always live on in my memory. It
Yeah.
was awesome. It was epic. We had like half of Antigua turn out, all the colors of the flags, the sounds, the vision. It will be forever in my memory.
Yeah.
I enjoyed, of course, everything they said, plus the beautiful sunset sunrises.
Mm.
If you can imagine a multitude of shades of red, yellow, orange, right reflecting on the horizon without any obstruction. We did see a moonbow for the first time, which is rainbow at night, so it has no color. So, just the peace, quiet, tranquil moments of no hustle and bustle, and
Yeah.
the outside world was actually
Put on pause.
Yes,
it was nice. You got to reflect. You didn't have to think about anything. You knew you were eat, sleep, roll.
Yeah.
Eat, sleep, roll.
And enjoy.
The simplicity of life. You kind of appreciated that out there.
Yeah. And I know you all mentioned you had some challenges during the race, but what would you say the low points were?
I would say for me, I think the lowest point was realizing that we weren't going to meet our target in terms of our time, our race time finish. But I think we realized that maybe 2 or 3 weeks in, and there was a moment where Kev was on the oars in front of me, and and I could feel there was just such a sense of disappointment, I think. But quite honestly, Kev bounced back within a shift. And we were like, okay, then we're gonna not give up. We're going to break us down and have little mini races between ourselves to see who could clock the most miles in a day. And this is where the KFC comes in, because Kev and Sam would race each other to see who would get a piece of KFC at the end. And so, yeah, it became more fun that way. And yeah, we were able to handle what could be something what could be something monotonous and also something disappointing. We were able to change into a very enjoyable team experience.
Yeah. Okay, for me, obviously that. And about 3 days in, we had a knockdown. A knockdown is when the boat goes 90 degrees and then rewrites. So it doesn't go full capsize, 180. That night, like we mentioned in the beginning, when we had the really great winds and waves, it was also very rocky. So we were like prepared for a potential capsize, but hoping it wouldn't happen. And 3 days out close to Antigua, it was pretty calm. That was one of the couple of moonless nights, dark, calm, and 2 a.m. I just feel water gushing over my face and not realizing what happened. I hear the autopilot beep, beep, beep. It gives this annoying beep. And so I'm like calling Sam because she's in the navigation cabin. We need to get back on track. We're off course. She comes out. She said, because Christal and I were on shift. She said, Christal is rowing here. She's rowing, not realizing when we got knocked over, our oars were broken on the port side. And I'm still holding on, getting ready to row again. And she's like, we need to change the oars. Like, let's get back, get into action. Mm-hmm. So that moment was a little, not scary, rattling. Rattling, because we weren't expecting it.
It just came out of nowhere.
We still don't know what caused it. Could be a rogue wave. Somebody said it could be a whale. Who knows? We really don't know why it happened. So we were very cautious while we're at night after that, like just knowing anything could happen. Mm-hmm. So I think that made the last 3 days nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Now before we go on to the Pacific Challenge, because I want to really hear about this, but when you're reaching the end, you're about to reach English Harbor. Take us what was going through your mind step by step from the time you see Antigua, you're arriving at home, and you're getting off, people are cheering. Just go through that experience, because I myself will never forget that. So I can only and I was watching it on TV from work in Antigua, and I can only imagine what you guys felt.
So I think I was the first to spot Antigua. I think we spotted it the night before we arrived. I came off shift and I could see lights in the distance. Oh, hello?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, my thing just kind of went. Anyway, we could see I could spot lights in the distance, and it was really exciting. We could actually see Guadeloupe as well. The lights from Guadeloupe as well as Antigua. And Sam was like, "You better be sure this is Antigua." And so she stood up and checked, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, we can see home!" And so that was very exciting.
I was on my shift and I heard them screaming. So obviously I opened the door, make sure everybody's okay. They're like, "We can see Antigua!" It was
an exciting.
Yeah, it was an exciting
moment. Like it was like, finally is like within reach.
Yeah.
So many hiccups, so many things that happened, and then we were finally home. It was
so that was the night, and then obviously we cleaned up, prepared. As we got closer, a lot of boats started coming out.
Paddlers, jet skiers,
and
everybody.
The thing is, it's an unassisted race. So until we cross the finish line, we cannot receive any assistance. So we had a PR team that organized for the Coast Guard so that people don't throw food into our boat, try to give us anything. So we also got 3 Coast Guard vessels escorting us, and preventing
Trying to
anybody
keep people away.
away to not have us reach this far and get disqualified. So that was, sort of nice, we felt important. Being escorted by the Coast Guard boats. And then as we came around the corner, Shirley Heights Lookout.
Yes.
There's the people lined, and there's this
The
huge
biggest
flag
biggest Antigua
Huge
flag I've
flag
ever seen.
on the side of the hill, like a couple of people were holding up. It's really hard to describe.
Yes.
And then we continued going, and
You hear the cannon
that
blast
scared
off,
us.
Yeah.
you hear foghorns.
Because we didn't expect that either.
Yeah, all
That-
the boats started blasting their horns. You heard this roar from the crowd that was
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Then as you come around, there was this, I can remember there was this big white sailing vessel. Like it was just huge. And as soon as we came around that corner, you could see every color of the flag, like people
Yes,
like
a sea of
sand.
color.
Sea of
Yeah.
color. Yep. Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. I think almost half of Antigua was there. I think.
Yes.
Yeah. We tilted the island.
And then, so you approach the harbor, and then you finally finish. What happened after that?
Jump off the boat. First of all, before you even get off the boat, you're looking for familiar faces. You're looking for your family.
Yeah.
I'm looking for my children, my mom, all my family who came out. Everybody was looking for their loved ones, and then you just want to get off the boat, give everybody a hug, cry,
But,
whatever,
yeah.
and get something to eat, which we
But
couldn't even
there
eat.
are race procedures we have to
Yes.
follow.
Yeah.
So they had to do the champagne spray.
Yeah.
We had to finish players. It was really, really epic, nice. It was a very proud moment for us. A moment of relief, like it's finally over. We made it. We did this. It was just an overwhelming mixture of emotions.
Mm.
Yeah. And then stepping on land.
Stepping on
Yeah.
land, yeah. We were like, well, Sam and I were very unsteady on our feet. We were
Yes.
kind of like, it looks like it's we're drunk.
With
Which I
sea
think
legs.
It surprised
it was
Sam.
shocking for me
Yeah.
because I've been working on the sea for like 20 years and
Yeah.
never in my life I've experienced anything like that. Even out at sea, I was walking around the boats because, you have the past rowers who give you insight on what to expect and, what to do, give you little tips and pointers. And a lot of people saying, oh, you're going to have wobbly legs after you step on land and I did not expect that. I was walking around the boat like, oh, I'm not going to, look, you see, I'm fine, I'm okay. And then step on land, and then that was it.
And then, what was the first meal? Because I remember that was you guys were still the ABS was still streaming live. What was the first meal?
Coconut water.
Yeah, well,
We tried to eat.
they had a lot of
Food.
variety,
Yeah.
and
We didn't have
we couldn't
appetites.
eat.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
After all of this,
Fantasizing about
Yes.
what we're gonna eat, like making a list.
That was
And
very
I had-
good. Yeah, that
I
was
had a list
disappointing.
a mile long.
Yeah.
Very disappointing because once we sat down, we couldn't eat. Like,
Yeah,
it was hard.
really-
Like
yeah.
we
Oh,
only
wow.
could drink.
Drink.
I had soup,
We had two
Dal.
biscuits.
Yeah,
we
and
And
I
bush
had
tea.
tea
Yeah.
and
coconut water. Yeah, we really. That was very disappointing. I just wanted to.
yeah.
We
had
did have
so-
this huge list
yes, 'cause
requested.
I got my sushi, I got my bucket of KFC, and it
Yeah.
sat in the fridge, and everybody ate it but me.
Yeah, we couldn't eat.
Local dishes, everything. We
Yeah.
wanted
Yeah.
everything. Couldn't eat anything. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, very disappointing.
Through that experience going through the Atlantic Challenge, what were some of the lessons that you've learned?
I think the biggest lesson I think I can say collectively is that we as a team can handle almost anything that is thrown our way. I have to say I'm really impressed with us. We've been together for about 5 years now. And as we go into the Pacific, we're one of the only teams, I think we are the only team actually,
So,
that's managed to have the same
Connection.
same connection,
bond.
same members
Yeah.
still doing this challenge again, repeating. Yes, we have lost one member in the sense of there are some unexpected circumstances or uncontrollable circumstances that we're just not able to overcome. But other than that, it's still the same crew.
Yeah.
And we have gone through many ups and downs as a team. but we are still here.
Yes.
We're still here. And I feel like the biggest thing we really have learned, and we started learning it from around the island, rowing Antigua, is that our strengths complement each other very well. And where one of us is weak in one area, the other or another person is able to really pick up that slack and go full force. So we work really well together.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now moving on to the Pacific Challenge. So where are you at today?
We're in Monterey Bay,
California.
Yeah.
California.
Yeah, well, like we said, it's the only day of sun we've had the whole time we've been here.
Yeah. So how did this opportunity come about, and why did you guys want to continue to do another challenge?
That's a great question.
I kept going.
So when we finished the Atlantic,
Mhm.
we had absolutely no intention or plans to ever row again.
Why are we here?
Yes. So now it was like, yes, we were going to continue as a team doing other adventures, but land-based.
Mhm.
That was our conversation. We were actually looking at land-based. We were looking at Mount Kilimanjaro. We were looking at jungle marathons.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened.
Mm.
So everything was put on pause. And the Atlantic campaigns, who are the race organizers for Pacific, and they decided to venture into this specific challenge, and they invited us, and we said absolutely not. We did. We're like, no, we've heard so many horror stories about the Pacific. No. And they came back, why not? You did the Atlantic. And and then we're like, eventually, really,
Why not? Yeah.
So that's how we ended up doing this again, but it really wasn't a plan.
No, it really wasn't planned.
And hopefully it's not a plan after this.
To do it again.
Yeah. I know our mantra for a little while, when people ask us, oh, are you going to row again? We're like, oh, never say never. But you know what? We think at some point we're going to have to say never. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did say never say never.
Yeah.
And now we're
here.
here.
Now we're here. But
Yeah.
And so how has the preparation been for this challenge? Because I know you guys have been in Monterey for quite some time already. So just give us a little bit of insights on the preparation.
Well, for this challenge, now that we have a little experience, we kind of know what to expect. We did, however, want to try to improve still. If we're doing a challenge, you always want to be the best version of yourself. Mm-hmm. So we did contact a trainer who is a world record holder, just to give us some tips, tricks. Like we say, we're not ocean rowers, and we still don't consider ourselves ocean rowers. So we reached out to also Gwyn Batten, the Olympian, that helped us. And so this time around, our focus, whereas last time was strength and core, our focus this time was more on endurance and efficiency of technique. Okay. So actually trying to perfect the stroke a little more, making sure our core is strong so that we can make every stroke count. Whereas last time we were just kind of just
learning on the way.
Yes. Yeah. So this time, we'll be more efficient, less injuries, at least within control, because
you never know.
We have shin guards this time too, because
we got bounced about
when the ocean decides to
do its thing,
the oars bang into your shins.
Oh, really?
And it is one of the most painful. So yeah, we learn lessons for this time a little better. Yeah. But yes, our focus this time on more endurance. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna try and have a little more fun now. Along with
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So how long have you been in Monterey for already?
We got here pretty much around the 1st of June. So it's generally you have to be here on the 2nd of June. The first mandatory meeting is on the 2nd of June. So all the teams have been here for about a week and a half. And so we have to do mandatory inspections of our food, our medical kit, and just generally our boat systems, to be able to put us on the water. And then once we're in the water, we now are in the process of doing what's called confirmatory rows, where we check the various systems, electronic systems on the vessel. So that's our comm systems, our water maker, navigation systems, all of that. We just make sure everything is working, making sure the boat weight is distributed well so that we're efficient through the water.
Okay. And then when does the race start?
Monday at
morning
8 a.m.
Monday at 8 a.m.
Yes.
Wow. So what's all going through your minds right now?
Ready to get on the oars and
Get going.
get going, and yes,
Well,
hopefully finish by middle July. And
Yeah. Well, we've been told everything the first week and a half to 2 is going to be brutal because the coast of California, everything is trying to push you back.
Yeah.
So we have mentally prepared to again push hard from we start, head out hard, and then it should be similar to Atlantic conditions. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting past that the first bit, because we know that's not going to be the enjoyable
so
bit.
it's kind of reversed to the Atlantic, because in the Atlantic, the first 2 weeks were great, like
and then it's like,
and then nothing, and then with this one, the first 2 weeks are going to be the killer.
Yeah,
and then hopefully
it's
smooth sailing after that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then how long is the expected journey?
we are still pushing for on the 40 days.
Yes.
Yeah, on the 40 days, and we're looking forward to the arrival in Hawaii.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
but it's gonna be beautiful, so can't wait.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. You know, I think watching you all back in 2019, I know you inspired a lot of people, not just in Antigua, but I think on a global scale. I mean, I remember there was an article on ESPN highlighting you four, and it was you all made some really awesome press during that time. Of course, not everyone listening knows about rowing the water, about how that goes, but I think wherever people are in life, what inspiration would you like to provide to people for pursuing something like this?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, one of the reasons that we did get a lot of press, and we didn't know this when we started the race, and we decided to take this adventure on. Like Christal said, we all have great spirits of adventure. It is a white male dominated sport, and in training and preparation, it was brought to our attention that there has been no Black teams that have done this before. And my advice would be, not because you don't see somebody, any representation somewhere, if it's something that you're interested in, go for it, break barriers, just smash them. Obviously, preparation and research to make sure you're safe, but don't let anything stop you from achieving something great.
Yeah. I think I would echo that. I think she said it.
I think also, when people are going towards where their purpose or a direction where they're called to, there's often tough times, and you all have faced a lot of tough times. What advice would you have for those listening here about how to get through those tough times?
I think I would say, I think one of the things people don't see with us is the amount of preparation we have to do, but also the team behind us. And not only do we have an administrative team, or especially in the Atlantic where we had a great team, we also had our families supporting us throughout all of it. I mean, and workmates who were able to pick up whenever we needed assistance in terms of like time off and stuff like that, and shift changes.
Working a few hours so you can come in late.
Exactly. So I would say the island really was supportive, or work colleagues were supportive, our families were supportive. And so I think having your support system in place is really allows you to do some really incredible things. And yeah, I don't think we could be where we're at without our support.
Yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
I like Krista had mentioned too, with the tough times, like being able to rely on each other's strengths. That was one of the things that got us through. So Crystal had to go over to clean the boat, the barnacles off the boat in the middle of the ocean, and she'll be doing it again because we're not. we don't like the sea creatures that much. But there was one point in time that she was so focused on her job of scraping the barnacles, and we're the lookout, looking just to make sure no sharks are coming and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And in her being so focused, the waves started to pick up, and she's like gasping for air, but she's still not realizing because she's scraping. And so we had to be her voice and her safety at that point. Crystal, it's okay. Let's next we'll continue and things calm down. So I think things like that, as a team, looking out for one another, understanding that she might not be realizing the dangers that are coming because she's so focused. Like, I think those things worked well with us as a team. And the main other thing was breaking our big goal that was no longer achievable into smaller fun goals. So that way we didn't become complacent and monotonous. And it's being able to adapt and roll with the waves that I think it was the biggest lessons that we took from this.
Doing this challenge and the previous challenge, it's I'm sure it's a huge financial investment in doing this, with not only the journey but preparation. I know there's a lot that goes into it. If people listening want to contribute to your cause and assist you in your financial endeavors with this challenge, how can people support you?
Well, one of the easiest ways to support us, we have a GoFundMe page. It's GoFundMe Team Antigua Island Girls, back on the row. You can reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook, drop us a message, and we can send you our bank details and how to transfer via wire. We also have Zelle. Yeah.
And it's a very expensive sport, which too is probably why it's not easily accessible to all races and colors. Yes.
Yeah.
It is the boat is 100,000 pounds. We haven't finished paying off our boat. We also do this for charity. This year we are raising funds to build a facility for girls in conflict with the law. Youth violence is on the rise, and we have 12, 13-year-olds in Antigua that when they get in trouble, they're either put in holding cells, in the jail, in prison, or in homes with more vulnerable girls, and it just makes the cycle worse. So this year we're raising funds to have a facility where they can have a change of environment, understand you can make a mistake, but you can still come out in a positive.
And also to have the resources to make that change.
So,
etc.
Yes, any dollar that we get is going towards a good cause. Once the boat is paid for, the boat will be available for other Antiguans, to be able to have access and focus on the training and can do something great also. So we look forward to any support that anybody would like to give.
Definitely.
For sure. And for those listening, in the podcast description, you can see the website for the Team Antigua Island Girls, and also the GoFundMe page link is on there as well. And if you're watching here on YouTube, you can just click the links below, and I'm sure the Team Antigua Island Girls would appreciate your support for their challenge.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes.
Yes. Closing comments, thoughts?
I just kind of want to say thank you to you first for having us here. And of course, a big shout out to all of our sponsors, both in kind and through cash and through love and support and well wishes, all of these things. Yeah, we're just really, really grateful for the support we've gotten so far and look forward to more support as we cross over the Pacific.
Well, best of luck, ladies, on the journey to come. We'll be watching and tracking you all during your journey, and I'm sure all of Antigua is behind you as well, and we'll be cheering you on from a distance.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, the Team Antigua Island Girls will be starting their challenge in just a few short days on June 12th, Monday, June 12th. So you can follow their journey on their social media platforms. And if you want to check out their website, it's AntiguaBarbudaIslandGirls.com. And you can find all the information about them on there. And also on there, if you want to go ahead and support them, the Team Antigua Island Girls are such an inspiration. I've been inspired by them, and I hope you as well. And if you want to go ahead and support them, you can go to AntiguaBarbudaIslandGirls.com, or in the podcast description, there'll be a link to their GoFundMe page. Please, please, please go and support them and in the venture they're about to embark on. They've been so inspiring, and it's a good group to help support. It's really amazing to see what they have accomplished, and it's going to be amazing to also follow their journey to come. If you want to follow the Team Antigua Island Girls, you can download from your app store YB Races from your app store and select World's Toughest Row, and that's how you'll go ahead and track their fleet. And they launch on Monday, June 12th. Another thing I wanted to mention is you can get your copy of the first 2 chapters of my new book, Navigation and Discovery, A Path of Navigating and Discovering Through Your Journey of Faith. And this is a little glimpse of my story in addition to other stories that are shared on the podcast. And if you want to get your copy of the free first 2 chapters of this book, you can text BOOK to 813-212-2557. Again, you can text BOOK, the word BOOK, to 813-212-2557. And you can also connect with me on social media, Cameron Nathan Singh, on all social media platforms. And you can find, if you want the copy of the book, or also to get your free copy of the first couple chapters. And you can also connect with me on social media to see all the other things that I am doing. So thank you again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this interview with the Team Antigua Island Girls. And on the next podcast, we have another amazing guest. She was the former mayor of Foster City, California. So subscribe now to the podcast streaming platform on whichever one that you're listening to, and subscribe and follow, and you'll get the notification as soon as the next podcast is up. Thank you again for your support, and we'll catch you on the next podcast.